Welcome back to my channel. I'll try and keep this short because the audio is not going to be too great with this rain that's coming down. But I'm currently back at Tees Valley, this time on Eagle Lake, which is a lake that I fished quite a bit about 4 years ago and done quite well on. But unfortunately, shortly after arriving, the heavens opened. It was due to be pretty wet for most of today, so I've actually came wearing my waterproof, so I was prepared. I was quite fortunate that it was dry when I first arrived, so I managed to get the bivvy up while it was dry. But as soon as the bivvy was up, the heavens opened, but I was grateful that I managed to get the bivvy up. So I've just been setting up really. I've got 3 rigs tied up ready to go out. So I'm going to get my waterproof jacket on shortly and get these 3 rods out in the water, and we'll see what happens. So just so you're aware, I've got 3 fluorocarbon D rigs made up, and I'm going to go for something a little bit different today. I'm going to use a snowman setup, and that just enables me to have a better bait visual, just something a little bit different. Not many people use them. And it also has that sort of balanced effect, so that it's going to be, the hook's going to be sat nicely on the bottom, hopefully pretty much invisible, with the bait just sat on top, hovering around waiting to be inhaled. So I've gone with 3 different colour options. I've got a milky malt white pop up there, the bottom one. The middle one is a baitwork Scent from Hell. And the pink one is another baitworks. Can't quite remember what flavour that was, but yeah, I've gone with 3 different colours, and yeah, we'll just see what happens. It's always nice to get back on the bank. So yeah, not ideal, but let's get these waterproofs properly on and get these rods in the water. Right, despite the really poor weather, managed to get a fish. Lovely mirror. Really good fish. £21. 21 on the nose it was. Over the moon with this. First fish for myself for 2024. What a cracking fish to start with. Absolutely lovely mirror this. Over the moon. This was my right hand rod, and this was the one. I'll go through all that with you in a bit. Get a picture of the other side. And people think we're mad for fishing in this weather, but the rewards are there. £21 on the nose, Eagle Lake at Tees Valley. Happy with that. As you can tell, this update is still sat in the bivvy, which I think the majority of this session is going to be. It's still raining, but it has calmed down a lot. But yeah, I had that £21 carp about an hour ago now. So yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing with that. That was my right hand rod. I've got all 3 rods over towards the far margin. They just spread out a little bit. And that one had a pink pop up on, which was Sea Monster by Baitworks. So it's like a perfumey smelling pop up. But whether or not it makes any difference, I don't know, whether it's colours or whatever. But either way, absolutely over the moon. So yeah, it came out with the blue, as they always do. I was just sat back chilling, listening to the rain pounding down on the bivvy, but I was in the zone watching Formula 1 on the tablet. Next thing, a rod rips off. So I had to quickly put my waterproofs on and run out, and it was a very hard fighting carp, to be fair. I played it for probably a good 10 minutes or so. I knew it was a good fish as soon as I I struck into it. It was staying low and just doing them small sort of head shakes. Yeah, it was all good. So thankfully there's another angler a couple of pegs along, Josh. So I don't know what he was doing out of his bivvy at the time, or whether or not he'd heard a commotion, but he helped out with the photos. Thank you to Josh. So yeah, that's all there is. So when I put those rods out, I put them out with the bait boat, and I had about a palmful, maybe a handful of freebies. So there was whole boilies and chopped boilies and a bit of crumb. But it was all DNA bug, and yeah, over the moon. So pressure's off, and I can just relax and enjoy the rest of the session. If we get any more fish, that's a bonus, but if not, at least we've caught. So first fish of 2024 for myself, and first fish using a bait boat. So yeah, but no, really happy with that. So like I said, the rain is dying off, and by about 7 o'clock tonight it is due to stop raining, hopefully, and then we might just get the odd showers tomorrow. Got some heavy wind during the night, but nothing too drastic. So yeah, it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon now, so you know, it's still technically bite time. You do get a lot of daytime bites at this time of year. In the summer I tend to find the night time is quite productive on here. But yeah, really happy with getting that fish on the bank. So I'll update you a little bit later, and hopefully it'll stop raining. So it's about 7 o'clock at night now, and I was thinking of leaving my rods out until the morning, but I've seen a couple of fish show about 3/4 of the way out, so not tight to the back margin. I know I've already had one fish and it was tight to the margin, but I can't ignore these couple of shows which were just more or less 3/4 of the way across. So my plan is I'm going to keep my right hand rod tight to the margin, which is where I caught the fish, which is over this area here. I can just zoom in over there, just in the centre of this image. That's where I caught that one earlier, very tight to those reeds. And then I think what I'm going to do with my left hand rod and my middle rod, I'm going to get them back out there, but not tight to the margin, about 3/4 of the way across. We have seen some fish show, and they'll stay there for the night, and then I'll see what's what in the morning if we've had no joy. But yeah, that's the plan. And also what I'm doing is I'm putting all the rigs the same as what I caught on earlier. So it's a 15mm bug boilie with a 15mm baitworks, what's it called, Sea Monster. So yeah, that's the plan. I feel like the pressure's off, already got a fish on the bank, so get these out and see what happens. But this is the exact rig that I caught that last fish on. It's a size 4 continental hook from Bank Tackle on a fluoro D rig. And yeah, I just thought I'd go for something a little bit different, so I've got a bottom bait and then a pop up just to balance it, so that hook sits nicely on the bottom and they just sit up like that. And yeah, it done the business earlier. So I'm going to get these 2 rods out there now, and it'll be getting dark shortly, so I'll update you during the night if I get anything. If not, I'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning. I just woke up a few minutes ago. It's around 8:30. The sun is currently out. There's not much wind. The weather app is showing that the wind has now moved, so it's going to be blowing from behind my bivvy over towards that far bank, and the wind is going to pick up around lunchtime, and we are going to get some more rain. So similar conditions to yesterday, but it's going to be in a few hours time, which is good. Gives me time to get my rods prepared. So last night I brought 2 of them rods closer in, and obviously nothing's happened. I brought them over to where I'd seen a few shows, but that far margin, obviously it done the fish yesterday. That rod went back on that spot straight away and it stayed there. With this bit of sunshine and obviously with nothing happening, them 2 rods are brought in a little bit shorter. Those are going to go back out over at the far margin this morning. But what I did do yesterday was, when I moved those 2 rods short, I put the bait boat back over to the far margin where I had been fishing, and I put some bait out. So I'm now going to go just put my rigs back over that far margin, over where I put some bait last night. And yeah, so it's a win-win. I felt like I had nothing to lose yesterday. So all good in the hood. So I'm going to shortly get these 3 rods in, freshen the rigs up, get them back out. All 3 are going to be going over the far margin. I didn't get a chance yesterday to take any footage of the actual lake, just with the weather being so rubbish. So I'm on peg 1. You've got the road that you arrive on, just there. There is a drop-off little car park where you can just drop off your gear if you want to, and then once you've moved your gear to your swim, you can then take your car back up the little hill, and there's a car park up the top, just up there. So as I say, this is peg 1. You've got all this area here, and there's my left hand marker there. So all of this is for peg 1. Plenty of space. So that area there is peg 2. You can see in between the 2 white markers. Peg 3 is next to there. Peg 4 and 5 we can't really see because it turns a corner, but peg 4 is basically the corner peg. You've got all of the corner area. And peg 5 is basically there. Peg 5 is facing a different direction to all the other swims. It goes around the corner. It's like an L shape, this lake. So I'm currently the only person on. There was a guy on yesterday doing a day session, Josh. He was the one who helped me with the photos. And according to the booking calendar, there's another guy on today. So yeah, only 2 of us on the lake, so plenty of room. And to be honest, with this lake, even if the lake's full with the 5 anglers, you've still got plenty of room. So here at Tees Valley, each swim comes with the unhooking mat, a weigh sling and a water bucket and a landing net. So you don't bring any of that gear with you. It just helps with the biosecurity, make sure we're not bringing any parasites or anything from other lakes. It's now approaching lunchtime and the rain's returned. It's not as heavy as yesterday, but it's still going to be another Day in the bivvy. One thing I'm grateful for is that I've just recently got myself a tablet, so on sessions like this when the weather's not great, it makes a huge difference having something to watch. So yeah, I don't mind it so much when the weather's poor. If I've got things to watch, I can kick back and relax. Something else that I've just recently purchased, which has been a lifesaver, is the Fox Halo Power Pack. I've got the 48K version, which is the smaller of the two, but it's absolutely great. I've just charged my phone and charged the tablet there, and it's still showing 4 lights, which means it's still over 75% full. So I reckon you could take this on a really long session and it will probably last. But yeah, it's a great piece of kit. It's got that light there, so that's ideal, especially on a night if I was to catch a fish. That would light up the area for the camera. So yeah, great piece of kit. So overall, very pleased when the weather's like it is, to have things to watch and not worry about batteries running low. Well, the time is now 7 o'clock. It's going to be getting dark in the next hour. Been a bit of a strange old day. The weather has been not quite on my side. Very showery and windy, but it's starting to calm down a bit now. So my right hand rod, which is the rod that I caught on yesterday, I've not brought that in. That's still towards the far margin, and that's going to stay there now for the night. There was a show of a fish pretty much in line with the marker in the centre of the screen, which is my left hand marker. Now that fish was about 3/4 of the way out, which is just what happened last night. There was a couple of shows 3/4 of the way out, so brought that left hand rod in, freshened the rig up, put that back out to that area 3/4 of the way out where I've seen a fish show. And I have had a couple of small knocks like liners throughout the session, so I thought try something a little bit different. That middle rod brought in, and I put that out just my side of the halfway, so not very far out at all. So I'm trying 3 different things: tight to the margin, 3/4 of the way out, and almost halfway out. So that's it now for the night. Those rods are staying there, and we'll just see what happens. But it's been another enjoyable session, and I was really happy to get that fish on the bank yesterday. It's still fishing that typical sort of winter, spring, you know, it's still hard going, a little bit tricky. I think if this session was maybe in a month or 2 time, I would probably be getting more than 1 fish, but that's the way fishing goes at times. You've got to work at it sometimes. But I'm still over the moon to get that fish yesterday. It was a really good fish, really good looking, and really good to just get off the mark for 2024. But yeah, I think it's still fishing a little bit tricky, and that's just with the weather. It's up and down. You know, yesterday was quite a cold day. Today was really cold. It was 7 degrees up until about 3 o'clock this afternoon, and it's just started rising now. It's now about 11 degrees, so it's a lot warmer than what it was for most of today. So yeah, just with the weather fluctuating, I think it's just having that effect still on the fish. But I think it's only a matter of time. Once the weather sort of settles and we start getting a bit more constant warmer temperatures, these fish are going to really get on the feed and make fishing much easier. But that's where we are at the moment, so I'll just see what happens tonight. If nothing happens, at least I'm going away with catching at least a fish, so all good in the hood. Okay, if I don't update you during the night, I'll speak to you in the morning. Well, good morning, and what a nice morning it is. It's typical for me to be fishing through pretty cold weather, wind and rain, and then on the day I'm off, it's due to be 16 degrees all day, no rain, just light wind. So yeah, never mind. So with this warm weather, it might improve the feeding of the carp. Not that I'm going to be here anyway, but never mind. It was a very quiet night, other than a dog barking through the night, which must have been on a nearby piece of land. It was a very quiet night on the fishing front. So it's been another enjoyable session here at Tees Valley. I'm really grateful, and yeah, really pleased to get that one on the bank yesterday. In fact, it was the day before, but yeah, really happy. So I've got some things lined up non-fishing wise next time I'm home. I'm off to America, so it's going to be summer really by the time I get back on the bank. But I am planning on doing quite a lot of fishing in the summer, hoping to take some time off work in August, so hopefully get on the bank quite a bit in August as well. So yeah, plenty of fishing lined up for the summer. So thanks for watching, and I'll hopefully see you again soon. Cheers.